Google Stadia has launched with a laundry list of problems. Pokemon Sword and Shield won't let you catch them all. Bioware plans a complete overhaul for Anthem, and the Game Awards have officially released their Game of the Year list. But first, is casting celebrities in video games good for the industry? This is Arcadian Insight. Welcome to episode number 38 of Arcadian Insight. So, I want to say about 2 to 3 months ago, we had a trending news discussion that talked about celebrities being in video games. It was a good convo, but I think that it's becoming more prevalent than it was then. And also, I think that we really could have fleshed that conversation out a bit more than we did. So I think it's a great main topic for today, especially because we've seen celebrities hired in video games in the past as just voice actors. I think we could name a lot of examples of that, but there are a ton of rules right now, especially like in some very, very large AAA games that are played, and the actual figures in the game are modeled after celebrities in real life, like Keanu Reeves being heavily advertised in Cyberpunk, Cameron Monaghan playing the lead role in Jedi Fallen Order, and Norman Reedus obviously in Death Stranding. I think we're going to keep seeing this as well, because these titles, not only are they huge and companies pumped a bunch of money into them and their advertising budget, but these games have gotten a lot of, I think, critical success, and I'm sure they've been making a lot of money. Cyberpunk's obviously going to be a success as well. It's been like the most talked about game for the past year and a half. How do you guys feel about this personally? Does it bug you when you see a celebrity play a main role in a video game? Does it not matter to you at all? Like, will it affect if you purchase the game or not?
It really bugs me a lot at first. I mean, I had a big problem with it. I think it kind of took the immersion out of the video game for me, and that's like a big selling point on any video game, really. How immersed can I get in? How believable is it? And I think like my first introduction to it was like Kevin Spacey with, you know, his really just his voice, and I think it almost like hearing it kind of like ripped me out of like the whole mood, like, you know, the whole game, like the setting, what was actually going on. But as time's been going on, I think they're improving on this whole aspect of having the actors, whether, you know, I mean, voice acting's been around for so long, but actually having like the actual actor face recognition and, you know, like to pick up their features and stuff like that. I think it is like the next logical step for video games. I mean, why not have them? It's essentially like an art medium. It makes sense, like movies, to have amazing actors. Video games could probably really benefit if they keep improving on this process of, you know, making them more believable. I think they still look kind of rigid in the video game setting, like especially even Norman Reedus and Death Stranding. I haven't played the game, but I think there's a lot of nuance that's lost right now. You know, just looking back like at his prior works, you know, I think like The Walking Dead, and, you know, even like Boondock Saints, like how like I don't know, how like angry all the time he looked. You know, he kind of loses a lot of that like emotion in a video game, which is unfortunate. And I'm hoping as they improve on this that we'll see, you know, better recreation of like famous actors, and it'll be more believable and just overall better. I think it needs to improve.
Yeah, and what game was Kevin Spacey in? Dave, you didn't play that game, did you?
Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare,
yeah.
I think.
Oh my god. That was the worst fuck. I want my money back still from that piece of shit game.
If I can keep tying back Advanced Warfare every week to a conversation, I think I might just try to do it.
Yeah. I hate that fucking game, man.
Why don't you make like a tree? I think that like a...
What is that? Is that a line in the game?
Boondock Saints.
Oh, okay. Josh, did you have a point you want to start with or no?
I was just kind of going to go along with what Wolf said, and at first it was... I wouldn't say it was like outrage or anything, but I think it all comes off as how they market it. Like the whole Ghost Recon, what was that? Breaking Point. And they brought him out with the dog and everything, and it was just too much, you know.
Bernthal.
Yeah, and he came out with the dog and everything. Like, I think maybe I'm a little biased here, but yeah, they sold Keanu Reeves a little too hard. But like, he's just great. You know what I mean? Like he's just great. But still, I agree that like it's a little much. You know what I mean? Like don't throw it in everybody's faces either. You know, like Keanu Reeves is in the game. You know, so I think that now, months past all those announcements and everything, now we've seen him in there. Like, fine, it's okay. But I think it just comes off as how they market it. Just, you know, and the whole like breaking immersion, I could maybe get on with that, but then somebody would just throw in the argument like I would want to see a celebrity in like a fantasy game. Like if you're gonna make a Lord of the Rings game and the games are marketed after the movies and they make them look like the actors, that's one thing.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna just throw like if they've made the guy who's playing Geralt look like Geralt in The Witcher, I would be kind of like, yeah, this is super immersion breaking. You know, like this is a real guy. You know, like
I mean, yeah, like when I used to play Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, you know, obviously I obviously wanted Aragorn to look like Viggo Mortensen. Like, why would I not want that? Like, that's what Aragorn looks like. But like, no, like on the flip side of that, when they just came out with a new trailer for the Avengers and it was all the stunt doubles for the actual Avengers.
Mhm.
Okay, that's terrible. On the flip side of like the conversation that we're having, when you have a movie and characters that are beloved, and you need to model them after the actual characters. You can't make them look worse than they do in the movies because it's gonna be awful.
All right. Like they made what's the guy's name who does Superman?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Like I think
he's Geralt. He's Geralt.
They picked him because he kind of, you know, like let's get a guy that kind of looks like him. You know, let's not, you know, it wasn't like let's just use him in the Witcher game as a model. You know what I'm saying? Like if they had Witcher 1 and 2 and it was this guy and then they did some model where it was Henry or whatever, Harry or whatever his name is.
It's Henry. It's
breaking. You know, it's like exactly like Wolf's saying, it's immersion breaking. It takes away from the experience. I mean, I'm not so big on it like Wolf. Like I didn't care that Kevin Spacey was in COD. You know, like that wasn't a big deal to me.
I didn't really care either. I'm just saying that was my first experience. It was jarring. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. It's just kind of like, wow, Kevin Spacey's in this game, you know, but it's not like you don't look at him as the character he's in the game. You look at him and it's like,
right. You're like, oh, that's fucking Kevin Spacey. Like, what's he doing here? Like,
it's okay. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
It really threw me off when Cameron Monaghan was advertised as the lead character in Fallen Order.
Like cutscenes. Sorry, guy.
Well, Keanu Reeves, like, I'm okay with it being a side character. Like, if I'm in the game and I see Keanu Reeves, like, okay, I think it's unnecessary, but like, I don't mind it. When I'm forced to play as Cameron Monaghan, or if I was forced to play as Keanu Reeves, I think that's kind of where I draw the line as a player, because I like to almost role play like my decisions through my character. I don't want to feel like I'm role playing Keanu Reeves. Like I'd rather role play like a unique person that is in this realm, and like I could make them do whatever I'd like. I can role play on like decisions like that I would make in real life, or I can make them evil or good or whatever. Like my character in Skyrim isn't my character in Fallout. Like they are two unique characters, and like so are my experiences. If they were both Keanu Reeves, it would be terrible. Like I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that one bit.
Yeah, I mean, here's my take on it. I mean, I don't have a ton to say, but I think in certain games it's probably okay. You know what I mean? Like if it's like Call of Duty or something that's more like lifelike, like real, like more relatable to like actual life, I think I'm okay with it. But like if I'm playing WoW and fucking like Obama or like Stone Cold Steve Austin like walks by, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, you know? I mean, those are pretty like
it's pretty extreme, Dave.
Over the top examples, but I'm just saying like just for effect that if it makes sense.
If it turns into like WCW versus NWO versus WOW.
Yeah. Like if you know what I mean, like if I'm playing like Call of Duty, like okay, they're like actual human beings and they're like fighting a war, like okay, you could see somebody famous being in it or whatever, just like a movie.
Mhm.
But like if I'm playing like a more fantasy game, like Josh was saying, and like fucking whoever, fucking, you know what I mean, Macho Man Randy Savage comes rolling in, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, you know?
Would it make more sense? Like, you'd be cool if like Sean Bean from like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings was like in your fantasy medieval game. You'd be cool with that. Be like, oh, okay, like he's done this before.
I don't know if I'd
he
be
fits
cool with
here.
it, but that would at least be better,
It would be better.
you know, than whoever.
What if it was Ric Flair?
I mean, I can get along for that. I can.
Yeah, the Nature Boy would be okay, but not Macho Man Randy Savage.
What was that pirate game? The one that Summit was always playing.
Oh,
Thieves.
Yeah, what if like Johnny Depp showed up in there? Would that break immersion, or would that be cool? Because I mean, he's most
Well,
recently
everybody
known
else
for
looks
being Jack Sparrow, I guess.
Everyone else in that game looks like Caucasian Shrek, so it'd probably be a little game breaking. Yeah.
Yikes.
I'm just curious.
I mean, I didn't mind. Like, if you guys ever played any of the Telltale, like they had like all the characters from Game of Thrones in the Telltale series. I didn't mind it, you know. But like,
well, but you would expect that though. I feel like that's the right thing to do.
You know, because like people are buying this game because they liked the Game of Thrones, the show, more often than not. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
It just
for me,
goes
like,
along with what I said
it
before, I guess.
it just comes down to, I think there's, depending on the game and like the genre of game, it can be fine. But other genres like a fantasy or something, it's a little more like off-putting and just doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean? It just feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
With like Call of Duty, like the initial like shock of like seeing an actor in a video game. Once you get past that, it's like not that weird because it's like, you know what I mean? They're humans going to war, and like you could see, you know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know, it just feels not as
Modern,
weird.
you know.
Right.
It's closer to the real life you're already living is when I think it's a little more acceptable.
Right. I agree.
I mean, not that Advanced Warfare is realistic at all, but
yeah, not only is it not really
I'm saying.
realistic, it's fucking terrible.
I went to get that Jedi Fallen Order. I watched a few cutscenes and I didn't mind, you know, like what Matt was saying with the main character and everything. Like, I think I could get through it. I think, yes, there would be a level of immersion lost, but the one that really kind of rattled me in the Jedi Fallen Order was you know, spoilers here. I didn't play it or beat it, so I don't really know what happens, but I just watched cutscenes, and the actor from Mad TV played his trainer.
Which actor?
So
yeah, who?
Mad TV.
I just have to look it up.
Do you mean was he just a voice actor, or was it modeled after him?
It's actually him.
It was them. It was a woman.
I thought that.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I don't want to say who I thought his master was or whatever. Trainer. I don't know.
It was Deborah Wilson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I actually think I recognized her in some of
Big
the
googly eyes. You know, that was kind of breaking for me a little bit.
Yeah,
because it was kind of like, this is a comedian.
Well, it's just
playing
jarring.
Like a Jedi master, you know.
Yeah, it's just
like,
jarring. Like, I feel like Fallen Order probably would have benefited from just a little bit of character customization. Like picking your race and like, I don't know, like picking what color your like robes are, and I mean that's cool, right? Like that's what I would have liked. I think the game's fine, other than the fact that the character moves around like he just took a giant dump in his pants. Literally the whole entire game. Like when he sidesteps, it looks like he's carrying around a full load. I don't know how people like are not realizing that as they play through the game for 20 hours, but
I'd like to argue that might be just realism. I don't know if you've seen Cameron Monaghan like moving around like on the red carpet and stuff. I mean, sometimes he does.
Oh, you know what?
He's got a big load.
In season 3 of Shameless, it's really prevalent.
How about Norman Reedus carrying around a tower-sized backpack of supplies around with him in Death Stranding? Yeah.
All right,
it is funny.
What are the odds he like starts getting like FedEx and UPS like commercial deals and stuff like that? Like he's showing up at people's doors with like all the shit.
Yeah, I see all the Amazon memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Brett the Hitman Hart comes out of
Did
nowhere
you-
and
Yeah.
like pow drives him into the
Right.
This is a little off topic,
Delivering
Wolf. I don't-
baby bibs or I don't know.
I'll get it out since I don't think we'll ever come back to it. But so you played Metal Gear Solid 5 a little bit. Did you watch any gameplay from Death Stranding at all?
Yeah, I've watched a lot. You're referring to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the engine that they're running on. Maybe it's just me getting older and like I started doing this show, so I'm a bit nitpicky at stuff now, but overly critical. But the engines are. It just seems like I'm just playing like a reskin of MGS5. It just like it seems, minus the, if you thought MGS5 was slow and boring, watch Death Stranding gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what everyone's big gripe is that it's kind of boring. I mean, I've played plenty of games that lack action that are still great. Like how much walking around do you do in Divinity, and it's still like super engaging.
Mm-hmm.
The fights and everything are icing on the cake. But it just seems like it's too close. Like I'm just looking at like a snake skin. Like this is the Norman Reedus snake skin.
Right.
Is what I'm getting from this Death Stranding game. But
and they could have. I don't know if we want to get into like a whole Death Stranding nitpicking review fight, because I don't think any of us. I don't even have a system to play it on right now. Is the issue? It doesn't come out on PC for like
January or something like that.
Yeah, next year. I thought it was summer. I don't. But I when you say like the engine and then you have somebody like Norman Reedus, and I don't know, he's not necessarily known for like his like funny and witty quips and stuff like that, but I feel like those are the kind of things that would make a game where you're walking around for like super extended periods of time. Like you bring out the personality of the actor. Like you have this famous person in your video game, like play to their strengths more. Like I feel like that's what they're not doing. That we've probably essentially mastered like the art form of like making movies and television shows, and there's directors that get the best out of these actors. Like every time they're out there doing something, they go over to a video game. I don't think they have that same direction. Maybe they're not asked as much. Maybe it's the limitations of the engine of the video game that it's running on. They like look robotic or don't sound.
Yeah, it's almost like
right.
are they bringing them on to act? Are they bringing them on to be a model?
Right. Yeah. Which I
part
don't
of
think
an
they
acting
figured it out
career?
either.
Are we just using this guy because we like his face for this imaginary character? I mean, I guess that's essentially what acting is in the movies too, but you see in a lot of these games, exactly like I said, they're not acting in the game. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like I don't really know the.
I feel like a lot of the times they're bringing them on for marketing, and I think that's one of the big reasons why I don't really like it. And I think, like, to answer the question of the show today, I think that it's probably not good for the industry. It's probably good financially for it. Like, bringing in well-known celebrities probably gives gaming a scope that it wouldn't have otherwise to the general public. I mean, even though gaming's huge now, I'm sure there's still people that don't think about playing games unless they see Norman Reedus in their favorite game. I imagine there are people like that. But I think that the one problem that the industry's having right now is like the over commercialization of video games, especially in the AAA space. Like, just like really putting too much emphasis on the graphics and like additional features that aren't necessary, putting in celebrities, like bloating the game with things that no one wants, and going too heavily on advertising instead of making the games actually good. And I think that people don't want that. I think that people who've been playing games for like 20 years don't want that. They got into gaming because it wasn't mainstream, it wasn't commercialized, and it was passionate. And now I think the celebrities are just like in addition to that commercialization process and are like a maturing of the industry. And I don't know that it's generally good for the art. Maybe good financially. I don't know.
It's definitely a financial move right now. You're right, 100%. And like I keep saying, I think that it's just going to take time before. I mean, I can't think of like Kevin Spacey's role when Call of Duty was good, but I don't know if he was really asked to do that much. Cameron Monaghan, I couldn't really say. It's not like these like performances or like something you're gonna remember. Like, hey, like like a great acting performance, like Leonardo DiCaprio, and name a movie, things like that. And I feel like that's the kind of progression we need to work towards. Like, if you're gonna keep doing this, and it's more than just like a marketing financial thing, it's got to be done better. It's not. It takes away too much from the game. Like you said, it's just how many more copies can we sell, because everybody fucking loves The Walking Dead and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Could you imagine like living in a world where you're buying a game 10 years down the road and it's got like, you're like, oh, well, how could I not get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 27 because like Brad Pitt and George Clooney are teaming up and like they're going over to Russia or something, and like that's really stupid, and like they'll be like 65, 70 at that point. But anyway, like I mean, like I could see something like that happening where like EA and just some of the bigger studios who are more prone to this kind of bullshit because like the higher ups don't know what the customers really want. Just start throwing in these actors, and like the general public might love it. Like we could be in a minority that says like, no, we don't want this. Like everybody could want to play that game, but I could definitely see it being like a selling point, having this big celebrity on the cover, a cast of celebrities, like almost taking the place of movies.
All right. So how about this, Matt? All right. Wolf, when you read Game of Thrones, you had an image of like who you thought they looked like, okay?
Yeah.
When you watch the show, it almost replaces
Completely.
the creations you had you're on your own.
I can't even remember what they were. Yeah.
All right. So that's just not me. All right. So back to Matt. Imagine playing. So like part of the beauty, I think, of Master Chief is that you're able to like mold yourself into the the Mjolnir armor and make Master Chief whoever you want him to be. He looks like whoever you think he may look like. Imagine if them coming out, and I'd watch a Halo show. But, and this just could be my opinion, and other people might be like, yeah, fuck it, fine, I don't care. Sure, I'd love a Halo show. I don't give a shit about what it would do to the image of Master Chief in the game. If you've selected an actor to play him as Master Chief in Halo, do you think you could ever still imagine Master Chief and having that mystery, or would you automatically just envision that actor underneath the mask?
No, I think you'd be doomed to imagine the actor. I don't think there would be a way not to. If it's a similar voice, maybe if the voices were very, very different, you might be able to escape some of that. But no, I think you'd probably imagine the actor. The thing about Chief and like a character like that is I don't even picture who it is underneath. I don't really even care what the person looks like. Like for all I care, it really is. No, I'm being serious. I've never even imagined what Master Chief looks like underneath the helmet. Like to me,
not even when the camera pans away at the end of the first one and he's like taking off the helmet.
No, like, honestly, to me, like he's really like more of just like a machine. Like is more just armor. I really don't think about it. It's not. That's not really that important to me. It's more like the virtues and the values and just like what he represents.
Oh yeah, you're injecting how you envision him into the armor of that character.
Well, doesn't that kind of, if you think about that, like the morals and the values, and then you take an actor that, maybe you have like these like preconceived ideas about, like from previous roles they had, like things that they've been known to do. I don't know, like a really strong, who would I say, like Jaime Lannister or something in Game of Thrones, and then like you threw him in a video game and he's supposed to be like this completely different character. He's supposed to be Master Chief or something like that. And you're thinking like you're trying to like align these, you have this preconceived notion of like who that actor is, through his previous works, who this character was up until this point, and now he's kind of this, and you're almost merging the two together. Does that make sense? And I could see that being like a conflict, like, well, this guy doesn't match like Master Chief, or he doesn't match this guy. Like, and then I would almost take like all the enthusiasm out of playing a game like that. Just kind of, and
then it's ruined forever.
Yeah, you just can't go back to it
after that,
right?
So I guess what I was getting at with that is, in my own opinion, I don't know if I really want to see all these actors coming into these games. Maybe if it was a new idea, you could get away with it. But I really wouldn't want them, messing around with, already,
like iconic characters.
Yeah, and
like
fleshed out stories and fleshed out characters.
Like, don't cast the next like Super Mario with like Danny DeVito or something like that.
Yeah,
might, like ruin the next Mario Brothers game.
Yeah. But like nobody could ever be the Penguin now that Danny DeVito's been
All right, well there you go. Yeah.
Like Jonah Hill just isn't gonna work.
These are new these are new problems for the modern age. Everybody's really in trouble. Video games are gonna get messy. Really messy.
Yeah, I think that I guess Danny DeVito could play a Goomba. He could be in Mario to a certain extent.
Koopa Troopa.
Koopa Troopa. Yeah, I actually like. I think like my general thoughts are just that I think that it's not good for the industry overall, at least from an art perspective for me. And but I really do like it when they pick up like a really good actor, a really good voice actor for a role, and I recognize the voice and it fits the character that they're playing. When it doesn't fit, it's really bad. Like I wish they wouldn't have done it and they just would have cast somebody that I didn't recognize. But when it's done well, it's really, really, really good. And plus, like, not that video games don't have good voice actors, but like there are so many games that have Matt Mercer and Troy Baker, and it's like, and listen, they do a great job in every role that they do. I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying like having some more voices in games might do some good.
Yeah, there's definitely that's a good point there. Because like you said, I don't know, just like my previous point, it kind of like once you recognize it, you just kind of get this mismatch of what you previously experienced them doing. Like you closely associate, like Josh was saying, like when you read a book, it's a little bit differently. You're left to interpret, what they look like, what they sound like, that kind of thing. And the second you get this injection of the voices, the images, the voice acting alone, I mean it's really hard to dissociate that like from the character then moving forward. Like you said with the Avengers thing, like it's probably unplayable for everybody that's not like a diehard like.
I'm surprised that everybody came after that Sonic movie and made them like redo the design and like I get it. Sonic did really bad.
That design was fucking trash. That was like the worst thing. And they actually made it really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is fair, and like there's a lot of conspiracy theories that it was just a marketing ploy, and I like half buy into them. But anyway, like I'm surprised that more people aren't coming out about the Avengers trailer. Yeah. The new game coming out from Square, because like it looks terrible. I'm sorry, the character models are really bad. Like I said, they're not even worthy to be the Avengers stunt doubles. Like they are so bad. Like they're not heroes to anyone, but like people are very, very passionate about the Avengers cast and the movies. Like people that I know in real life, like not just people like fake people on Twitter, they defend the movies like hardcore. I would think that the fans would be outraged.
Oh yeah, not to mention the kids. The kids are gonna grow up. Like anybody's gonna see. I already forgot Iron Man's actor's name.
I want to say Tony Stark.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and like
Tony Stark Jr.
Kids are gonna forever remember him as everyone will. It's not just kids, but like Tony Stark is and will always be Robert Downey Jr. now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. I mean, what's that going to do for? Well, I guess with video games, these characters can kind of be like immortalized. I mean, because they don't have to actually be there. I know they've done some pretty spooky shit even in movies with the putting people's voices. Well, I think
aging, all that stuff.
Well, yeah, the people that actually like passed away during recording and stuff like that actually finished the film without them, whether they had the scenes recorded or not. Like you could get enough clips together and you can keep somebody alive and in a game. Maybe it'll work better than like a movie like that.
Well,
but if
I
that
think-
much time's passed, I mean, people even going to remember, you know? I guess I
I
should
think
say.
to that point, I mean, think about like some of your favorite gaming characters from when you were younger, or even today, like your Cloud Strifes and your Sephiroths, or
Mm-hmm.
anybody from any game. Like those characters wouldn't be remembered and idolized like they are today if it was Keanu Reeves. I mean, they just
Yeah,
wouldn't, because they
right,
wouldn't
and-
be their own character. Like it's not unique IP. It's
Yeah, right. And like Keanu Reeves would just be in another video game, and you know it wouldn't be unique. They would be, you know what I mean? He would just be in a bunch of different video games, so you would just know him as like the most recent character that he was. more than
Yeah, and
anything.
if they ever make another Halo, like, and they don't pick Gyoza to be that alien, it's just going to be totally game breaking. I don't.
You're right.
know. So what? We're back to Stadia.
Yeah, so Google officially launched its cloud gaming service on November 19th. And with it, thankfully, a good amount of large publications tried and reviewed the product so that you wouldn't have to. The general consensus that I've gathered, I looked through a bunch of articles, like 15 to 20. I was really doing some due diligence on this stuff last couple days, and it seems to me like it works. Like you can play AAA games on this service. It's just that it doesn't work well enough. I'm seeing a lot of reviews say that they are having latency issues. Like we saw the video from the Washington Post. It's so blatant. Like when he hits the space bar, the pause between when he hits it and when the character jumps on screen. It's actually like almost laughable. And the jumps before and after that, they seem to be fine, but that doesn't matter, right? Because all it takes is for that to happen a few times during your playthrough. And I mean, your immersion is broken and you get sick of it and you put it down. And your console isn't going to do that, and your PC isn't going to do that. So why would you ever use a Stadia service? So, but anyway, other than the inconsistency of the latency, which is a huge problem that I don't think that they can fix, there's also a lot of features that were missing at launch that were promised. It seems like even people like the founders of Stadia over at the Stadia like subreddit are pissed about this. There were a lot of people that bought the Stadia founders pack, and they were promised to get like their unique username on day one, and they didn't receive it. So there were a lot of people that bought it like back in June, and there were people that had bought it in October, November that were getting to pick names before them. And people are not happy. I've even seen a lot of people talk about like taking legal action against Google. I don't know what that looks like, but it's pretty gross. And also the pricing model is still really difficult to buy into. You pay $130 up front, $10 per month after that, plus $20 to $60 per premium game. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's going to pay that. It's not worth that. And really, the last real kicker is that Stadia's 4K does not actually look like 4K. It's a little bit worse quality than what you would get on just really anything else. So we had a segment a few weeks ago where we discussed the fact that Stadia's marketing seemed to be a little bit light for their launch coming up like in 2 to 3 weeks. It seems to me like they weren't confident. I think on the one hand, they released like 11 new games the day before launch because I think that they felt that the game package was too light. There were 13 games and 3 of them were Tomb Raider. It was a terrible games lineup. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, it seems to me like the service is kind of dead on arrival. Maybe they can clean it up later, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
We told you so.
All right, so I want to say something about, at least from what I gathered, that the pricing model, I think, this is obviously the entry, maybe the barrier to entry for some people right now. Apparently that monthly subscription is going to go away in several months, and all that monthly subscription will get you in the future is the 4K that's may or may not be real 4K.
Yeah, that 4K that isn't 4K.
I looked at the
Upscaled or
pictures.
checkerboard.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if it's that. It almost like is like washed out in color in some of the pictures, so it was really strange. I don't know what's going on with that, but what I didn't see is that $130 up front. Does that go away?
I think that it does. I think that was for that Pro subscription.
Okay. Well,
but the base model won't. But yeah, you still
buy
still
the
pay
Chromecast thing.
Yeah, you still pay for the controller. You still pay full price for your games for a service that honestly just doesn't play as well as everything else on the market.
Right.
The infrastructure is just not there yet. You
Yeah,
know,
I
our
think
freaking
that's the
Discord
takeaway.
can't even work through a freaking hour long worth of content.
Mhm.
How are you gonna get, streamable 4K? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that any of us disagree that like probably the eventual future is the streaming of games and whatnot, like Stadia is trying to produce. I think that is the future. It's just that future is not now. The infrastructure's not there, whether it be, just the internet in general. Like there's just not. Think about how to stream a 4K game like that. Think about the data that uses. And think about everybody doing that. There's just not enough bandwidth or
No,
whatever word you wanna use to be
you
able
like
to
couldn't
support
do
it.
it in you like couldn't do it in New York City, let alone like some rural suburb like
Exactly.
out in the middle of nowhere.
Between that, just, like, the sheer amount of, like, data and, like, internet p usage that you need to stream that game for that, you know what I mean? Like, if you wanna stream that for, like, a weekend and, like, really veg out and play, think about how much, like, internet speed and, like, how much internet usage you're gonna have and, like, what's gonna stop, like, the internet providers from, like, charging you, like, a huge premium for, like, needing that much, like, internet speed and that much,
Mhm.
like, data.
yeah,
That's number 1, and then number 2, just, like, the technology, like, unless you're, like, a high-end gamer and you're spending thousands of dollars on equipment, you're never gonna get the best experience, right?
Mm.
So, like, it's really targeting, like, a niche group of people,
I'm glad
in
you
my
said
opinion.
that. The niche group of people, and I see people trying to defend who this is for,
Yep.
and they're doing a very poor job of doing that. And I can't discern who that's for. They keep saying like, okay, so it's people that can't afford to buy a console or a PC, or that's too
hmm
much money.
But they're
Okay,
living in a huge metropolitan area.
they're yeah, but they do more than likely have to live in a huge metropolitan area, relatively close to where these servers are being held, because whether you have great internet or not, the distance between where you are, and I feel like a lot of people are missing that, where you are and where this game is being streamed from, it does matter. It's going to contribute to the input lag. And then you have to have not only, like they say, like 10 megabits per second was the lowest speed you can run on. It was like 720p, which, all right, 720p, maybe some games on the Switch kind of run at that. That's not unbearable, but it's not ideal. Then you have to have not just that, but consistent, generally, like Dave was saying, like not being used internet connection at all times. It has to be like perfect. And I don't live like in a hugely dense metropolitan area, but where I'm at, like my internet is not perfect 24/7. There's issues with that.
I don't know who the people are that are defending the niche audience either. I also don't know who it's for, and I've read in multiple places that the pre-sales and the launch sales are way down from expectations.
Mm.
There just aren't a lot of people buying it because it's very unnecessary.
That and, like,
Um,
I've read lots of posts, like, people complaining that they're gonna, like, bitch about getting their money back for paying for, like, the founder edition or whatever the fuck it's called.
yeah, because
Because
they didn't get their profile name. And
right,
there were,
and
like, half of the features or over half of the features, I don't wanna list them all, but,
right.
like, that weren't even available to anyone. They just weren't rolled out on launch. And they keep calling it, like, a soft launch. It's not a beta, it's a soft launch. Well, like, then why did people pay, like, more than full price for your soft launch? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, your main audience, your main consumers, like, you totally fucked them over. And no one else even wants a part of your service. So
yeah.
who's left that wants to play it? I mean, nobody.
Look how long Oculus was in Kickstarter and like a beta consumer testing phase before they even came out with even beta packages. They were in like people who are willing to pay thousands of dollars just to get their hands on,
Yeah, right.
the
Well,
technology.
and,
Mm.
like, I think part of it is too, like, people, like, think Google, like, no matter what they do, like, they can't fuck it up.
Mhm.
But, like, okay, let's look at past things, like Google Glass. Everybody was like, "This is gonna be, like, the new thing. Everybody's gonna wear these fucking glasses and, like, fucking Be like a fucking
Yeah.
techie dude, and like that fucking nosedive and fucking crashed and burned faster than fucking anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not everything they do is fucking perfect. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously they have come up with a lot of cool shit that has like revolutionized things, but like,
Mhm. Well, in Google
doesn't mean
Fiber, I mean, Google Fiber, like, it seemed to work great, and then, like, I mean, I'm not actually sure, like, what happened with Google Fiber. It was, like, rolling out in a few cities, and it was great, and then, like, it just stopped.
There's a
I should probably
monopoly.
read into that.
There's the monopoly that the local internet companies have on, the internet. It made it really difficult for them to work their way into places. So they essentially,
Yeah.
that's what my understanding. They gave up because it was just people
Mm.
either A, weren't giving it up, or they would maybe spend too much money. It just wasn't worth it.
So
Okay, yeah,
before
like
you go any further, I was just going to say, I might repeat some points, in other words, that you guys said here, but now that we're on like internet speed and like what Wolf just said, like local monopoly, so, like where we're at, you have two options. You got Armstrong, you got CenturyLink. And CenturyLink is DSL, which is
wow.
like one
Mhm.
step above dial-up.
Mhm.
So, okay, on top of that, we're not running on fiber, we're still running on copper. And we have fiber lines run, or they told us this, they raised everyone's prices like 10 years ago, more than that, almost 15, said that everything's going to be faster, we're switching over to fiber lines. Never did. 15 years ago they ran these lines. We're still running on copper. Other places may have, like Verizon Fios or whatever that you could get down in Pittsburgh, they're on fiber. Fine. Not everybody's like that. I think that Google, somebody had to be the first one, right? They stepped up and did it. Whether it succeeds or it continues to, this doesn't look like it's doing so hot right now. And it probably is going to wind up like in a Google Glass situation. I think so, in my opinion.
right.
They have a direct competitor with mobile gaming that isn't run through Google, that is already established. Varying internet connections among, nationally. How are you gonna, how can you think if it works for you, you have the internet connection for it, and you have the lifestyle that, and you like to play games, and this fits your lifestyle, and it works for you, fine. Get it, enjoy what you can out of it, fine. If you're one of those people, cool. But there's just no way that this was going to work on a large scale. Like, it's just not possible. Like, we said it already. Dave said it. I said it. Wolf's talking about a monopolies. There just is not the internet infrastructure to support this type of technology yet. Period.
I like what you're saying about that, because they're offering this service, but they have literally no control over the internet that they're being provided. And it's so heavily dependent on so many factors that are outside of their hands. I don't see how they're going to do. It's not like Netflix or something like that. That's way less intensive than the data that's coming through. The one guy was talking about how much data he used. 900 gigabytes of data playing, I don't know, a couple days, was it? And that he almost capped out on his monthly terabyte limit in 2 days, like playing in 4K. Like, what's local company? I'm sure he was, through some huge company in a major city was his case. Smaller, outlying areas, and even the big ones, they don't offer enough data for people to do this kind of thing.
That's just it. There's another one. That's just another point. Some people do.
Yeah.
But not everybody has limitless data. Yep. I'm capped at like a terabyte or 2 terabytes or something like that. And I was worried about it when I decided I was going to, be the next big streamer, like, I'm not going to have enough data. I'm going to have to upgrade my package,
I think,
and I still don't even come close to that. But like, for you to, like what Dave said, to try and stream a 4K video and play a game for 12 hours, and then say you have a family of 4 other people in your house, and then watch Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, say their stream, it doesn't matter, Sling, whatever it is, Wi-Fi connection over their phones, iMessaging uses data. There's just no way this can work.
Now,
outside of all of this, on next week's show, I want the main topic to be not just about Stadia, but about cloud gaming in general, and how we always talk about cloud gaming being the future, and I see a lot of people in general talk about everything going to the cloud. And I really want to have a conversation about like whether or not that's really what we want to have happen as a consumer, as an industry, because I actually think it would probably be like the worst thing that we could do for video games as an art form, for consumer rights, from pretty much every avenue. I think it would be the worst thing that we could ever do. But let's not talk about that today. I think we talk about that next week because it's just too much, and we could probably do it for like an hour. So Pokemon Sword and Shield won't let you catch them all. Sword and Shield officially released on November 15th. Before its release, there were major leaks that showed the game's entire Pokédex roster, which omitted a good amount of first-gen characters. Some of my personal favorites, like Squirtle, Alakazam, Dragonite, and Mewtwo, like all the boys. Yeah, it's like my whole roster right there. I like couldn't even have a full 6-man party. It'd be like nobody. Fans seemed really, really upset by this. These omissions. Does this have any effect on you purchasing the game? Does this make any difference? And do you feel like people that don't purchase the game because of these leaks, is that warranted?
I think that's like maybe a little much, but I mean, isn't like Pokemon's longtime slogan, gotta catch 'em all?
Yeah, but I mean, I will argue that is true, but most of the games, not all of the Pokemon, especially weren't in the actual game to catch them. Like, you could trade to the other games. Like, after the first generation, like, that was the case. Like,
no, I mean, you weren't able to get Bellsprout and I think Growlithe.
Yeah, and like
between versions, right? Like, of that same generation.
Oh, you're talking just generation.
From generation to generation, new games. Like, all the the entire it's not like, I don't know, was there like over 1,000 Pokemon now or something? Could you imagine
I think
having the whole roster and then like someone like me, I bought the game and I really enjoyed it. It's like I haven't played one since like they were on Game Boy Advance. So it's like it's really freaking good. And
what's so good about it? Like, I mean, like what's so different about it now?
It has like really nice quality of life improvements. Have you played it, Dave?
Like I haven't played the new one yet, but I played the last one that was like the remake of Red and Blue. But like, does the new one have the Pokemon like out in the wild, like you actually see them?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think that's super cool. Like it's it's different. Like you're not just walking in the grass and like a random thing appears. Like you literally see it there. And you're like, holy shit!
Adds life to the game.
It's that's one thing they added. Not just that, there's like special. I don't know if they're special, but there's like it's not like every zone has like these really weak or same level Pokemon. Like sometimes it feels more like diverse. Like you can run into something like early in the game that would just totally smoke your ass. Like it's more believable in that sense. They do things like you can access the storage anywhere. You don't have to battle with every single Pokemon to level them up, that kind of thing. They all share experience. You can it's slightly
as long as leveling up isn't catching the Pokemon, because that shit was horrible.
It's both. If you catch it, you still get experience. If you kill
it,
you
what was that? Whoa. What do you mean?
What?
In Pikachu and Eevee,
yeah.
You didn't battle your Pokemon.
What do you mean?
So, say you were to fight every trainer in the game in Pokemon and Eevee, and you weren't online. As far as I know, you'd never be able to battle your Pokemon again.
What, like the wild Pokemon?
You don't battle them. You catch them.
You don't battle the wild Pokemon.
There's no battling in Pikachu and Eevee.
You just catch them.
The way you level up is catching Pokemon, and then
who gets the XP? Oh, it's
the whole party.
Yeah, the whole party. That was the old one.
I never knew that. That's interesting.
Garbage.
Yeah, why would they change that model? I feel like everything is about like.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I actually didn't hate it because like battling like the wild Pokemon was like pretty mundane because like you're just gonna completely fucking shit on them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Then you
but I feel like
you had to be careful that you didn't kill them and shit. Now you just catch them and then you fight like the actual trainers, which I played the game for many hours and it was.
There was no connection with your lineup. Like you had to I needed to train to get that Tyranitar
Thank God
in
somebody,
silver and gold.
thank God
you know?
somebody said it.
You know, it's like I need dude, my Nidoking that started out as a Nidoran to beat Brock in the first gym. He's there forever. You're my boy. You're my boy, Blue. You're in it. You're in my lineup forever.
Pokemon for me was like catching my first Abra, like putting them up front, like when he only had teleport, and like switching them out real quick, getting him some XP, getting him to that Kadabra. Like when people run out of the moves, like lugging it all the way back to the nearest Poke Center to like refresh the HP and the PP and everything. Like that was Pokemon.
Yeah.
I feel like
Magikarp.
But I feel like
if the trials and tribulations you did to get a fucking
you don't have to do that anymore. You
but
just
that's the
leave
whole
them
game.
in the party, and they get experience through the other guys fighting.
No, like that's like the worst part of the game, and they got rid of that. It's incredible.
Josh, help me out. I feel like
it was the best part of the game. I'll give you that, but I'm just so sick of someone that I just don't care to switch out.
Right, and
every 2 seconds. Oh, it just drove me nuts.
That and
grind like that.
I don't have time to like play games as much anymore.
Exactly.
So like, if I can cut out the stupid bullshit and just like actually fight people that want to fight, I'm in.
True.
I mean, I guess if trying to be like.
But you can't be the very best.
Elite Four master is stupid.
No,
bullshit,
but I can't be the very best.
I guess I would agree with
the random fucking dipshit Pikachu walk around the woods. I'm gonna shit on it anyway, so I might as well just chuck a ball at his head. And then
no, you got to train him to be like no one ever was. Okay, that's
well,
how it is.
Catch up, you beat him, you catch him,
and a Pikachu isn't a Pikachu in the forest isn't a shithead. You know how rare it was to run into a Pikachu in Viridian Forest? It was like a 1 in 30 chance, bro.
Yeah, and
only
Pikachu
on the far left side, very left side in that little square.
Josh, okay, thank you.
Can only get him there.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I get what you and Wolf are saying. It takes away the monotony and the grind, and it's a game has to evolve.
Yeah,
you know, no pun intended there, but to do that in that dramatic of a way, like if I wanted to play Pokemon Go, I'd play Pokemon Go because that's how you leveled in Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Like I played Eevee and Pikachu, and that was just a total buzzkill for me.
I get it. You're making some good points. You know,
it's just agree to disagree.
If you're not digging that they're missing a few Pokemon, I think that I didn't play Pokemon Go, and I'm not sure what the last one was like. But the formula, they've changed it a little bit. It's like you're still going after the gym badges, and you don't like just jump right into doing that. Like there's a little more story to it. They've kind of, I feel like we've gone off the rails a little bit from like the traditional like Pokemon steps. It's not the same fucking game that you played, 4 times in a row. It's like a little different than that. And then,
so we're a little more than like, we got to teach that Sudowoodo a lesson for not letting me pass that part in the pathway.
They do a cool thing with the gym badges, like in the gyms in general. Like it's you don't feel like you're alone just walking through it. Like they show you there's other people there with you starting this challenge, and where the fights are held, it's like a giant stadium now. That's so awesome. Like you walk, like they show your guy like walking out onto the stadium, and there's like a crowd, everyone's going nuts, and the guy comes out and they shake hands. It's like a giant ass soccer stadium is what it looks like. And
I got an N64
then you fight on
for
the
that.
Stadium. It's
who like, plays that? Who plays Ash in this one?
What do you mean?
It's no Ash. It's
what celebrity?
It hasn't been. It's actually Matt Damon.
Is it Ash. Damon now?
Yeah.
So you said that you run in. So somebody said that like you can run into a Haunter like right out of the gate, like Pokemon that you wouldn't see till the end game.
You can, but you can't catch them, most of them, right away. So like you can run into some guys that'll like beat the shit out of you. They're like over leveled for the area. There's like a giant like exploring area. They did a nice like open world aspect to that. There's a lot to feels rewarding to go around and dig through the nooks and crannies of the game.
Do they talk about it? Like, are they like, oh, I hear there's a Haunter that could be around. Like, watch out for him.
I'm not very far into the game. That big area I'm talking about, no. They say like
that'd be pretty cool.
But I'm maybe further on. Cool. But the people do seem interactive to that point. I couldn't speak to it because like after you beat the first gym, that's like right where I'm at. When you leave, you don't have to like talk to the people. They all the time they'll like say stuff in passing. like the little bubble pop up, and they'll like recognize
Cool.
like, oh, like hey, like the one person's like, hey, he's pretty good, like he won that fight. I'm like, well, I guess he's not so bad, stuff like that. It's like
Hey, this guy's pretty good.
It's
Appreciate
way,
you.
I would say, way more immersive than any of the previous Pokemon games I've played.
I think it's cool that I heard that. So in the original Pokemon, you ran through the grass. You had your theme come up, and it says they attacked, right? This is attacking you. And then in Pikachu and Eevee, you had to run up to them. Like they moved around, and if like you weren't quick enough with like the way you moved around, like they could run into you. But for the most part, you ran into them. So it kind of like took away that aspect of they're attacking you. Well, in this one, you might know where I'm going with this. Is that like, and it goes along with you trying to get that combo so that the shinies pop up. Is like they come after you. Like if you step in the tall grass, like those Pokemon are like beelining it to you through the tall grass and like attacking you literally.
In this one,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
They do, yeah. They come after you. It's funny. They make the noises. They come after you. Sometimes you like listen for the noises. It's like a whole different. I think that did come up in the older games, like very rarely, but
it sounds really good.
It's cool.
I actually might get it. Like I might like order it tonight.
But I highly recommend it.
On this subject, like the Pokédex subject alone, like the cast of Pokemon that are available. When I first read the article and saw the leak, I was like absolutely enraged for like an hour. Like I was like pissed. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, how could they not put like my boy Squirtle in there? Like, wow, I'm not gonna get this fucking game." And then I thought to myself, like, "Wait, Matt, like you're fucking 28 years old. Like, you shouldn't give a fuck about what Pokemon are in the new game." And I really calmed down after that. And I really don't care anymore.
No Metapod.
My eyes were like glowing red. Steam was like blowing out of my ears. But anyway,
right.
Sorry. On to the next news story. Bioware plans a complete overhaul for Anthem. So everyone's favorite game, Anthem, is definitely not dead and still super popular, no matter what you read or what you believe. There have been rumors that EA and Bioware have been planning a complete overhaul of the game, calling it Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0. No real details have been announced, and it seems that the entire operation is completely in flux. They're not sure if they're going to release this update all at once or over time. They're even considering releasing the update as an entirely brand new game. The only thing that seems certain is that Anthem is not dead and that hundreds of devs are quietly working on overhauling the game. Other than Anthem Next, BioWare is also working on Dragon Age 4, and also a new Mass Effect is in very, very early stage development. I don't know. I had forgot this game existed, and then I saw this article and thought, why don't we talk about this for a little bit? I don't know. Did you guys even know that this was still going on? I thought that they had given up on this game. I thought the player base was like 10 people.
Do you remember seeing the guy in the interview when they're like, "Oh, it's not dead," and the lead dev's like,
"Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious." Yeah, I do.
Take the hint. Get it out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny's already dominating this market, and that's not even good.
You said Dragon Age 4 and Mass Effect. Take those developers. Maybe they don't have the same skill set. I'm sure they can do something on those games because, like, that's where your bread's buttered over there. Unfortunately, it wasn't Anthem this time. Can this happen? Can you make a 2.0? I mean, we saw Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. That's wildly successful. But this type of game, it's not an MMORPG. It's not going to offer the same level of depth. I don't think you can revive it to the point where, or you would ever get the player base numbers anyways to make it worthwhile to bother. So you make Anthem 2.0. Just make a new fucking game. Forget about it.
Imagine the marketing campaign that you would need to create enough hype to get people back into the game. Like the amount of money that you'd have to spend. It's just like not even worth it. I agree.
Yeah.
Put your resources
all your
into
chips and streamers.
Yeah. You'd have to.
I guess you could, like influencers, but I agree with Adam. Like, just put your devs into your franchises that people actually like. Put Anthem to bed, please. Everyone's begging for you to do it, and just double down on what you're good at.
I don't think Anthem. It wasn't great. It was released probably at a horrendous time, obviously, but it was close-ish. It wasn't that far from hitting the mark. I think, I guess I can kind of see it. There's a chance they could catch fire, but like I said, I just don't think it's worth it. What's
my idea? I think here, and I think we've already talked about this, and it's probably been said on the internet 100 times already, maybe a million. But these suits get into the, like, I guess Anthem's problem and Destiny had the same issue, is that like these guys in these suits come and do these play tests, and then they're like, do this or let's do that, and then they force these changes on these people. Is what we as the public hear later on. You're like, this is what happened in the Kotaku article says that Destiny was already in trouble a year into development, but and now it's like these investors or whatever, and these people are saying, do whatever you need to do to fix this game because we need to make money off of it so that it's not a hole. And it's like, well, you already ruined it when we were halfway into making it, 4 years ago. Now you want to like make the game better and start from the ground up and recreate this as how it should have been in order for it to be successful. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and we have this conversation like not often, but we've had it a few times. And like, I'll never play Anthem. I don't trust Bioware and EA on this product. I don't want to play this product. Fixing it and turning it into a game that even I would think is very enjoyable, I'm not going to play it. Like, your launch was terrible. You shouldn't have launched it the way that you did. You betrayed my trust. You betrayed other people's trust that bought it, kind of like Google Stadia did with their founders recently. Like, I don't want the product. Like, sell me something else. I might buy it, but don't sell me Anthem again.
Yeah. I don't really got anything else on this.
Yeah, just
let it die.
Yeah, I agree.
Let the ship sink.
All right, last news story of the day. The Game Awards have officially released their Game of the Year list. We had just talked about, we had a whole show about our Game of the Year and what we think a Game of the Year should be. So these are the 6 games that are up for the Game of the Year from the Game Awards. I think that the show is sometime in December. So it's Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds. So those are your choices for the 2019 Game of the Year. How do you feel about it?
Everything but Sekiro and Smash are real stinkers in my opinion.
Yeah, this is the real fart gate here.
Who the fuck comes up with this shit? Somebody gets fucking paid to come up with this shit. Like, what the actual fuck?
No Fortnite 2, no nothing.
Resident Evil 2 is on here though.
How and why? How is that even in consideration?
It's getting a lot of love. Yeah, from both like critics and consumers. Like, they're all about Resident Evil 2.
Sure, it might have been a great game.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It might have done the kind of declining quality. The whole, everyone says that Resident Evil has been kind of going down the tube since 7 or before 7, right? So this might have been like the jump, the kick that it needed to like win everybody's favor back. That doesn't mean it deserves to be a Game of the Year. It's a fucking remake.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, I keep seeing people say, like, oh, it was such a different experience from the original. It was so much better. Well, one, I fucking hope it was. If it wasn't better than the original, then we have some real fucking problems on our hands with game development and the current state of the industry. But like, that isn't how we critically view games based on how they are compared to themselves 15 years in the past. Like, we're not like, when Anthem 2.0 comes out, we're not going to say, oh, Anthem 2.0 is really, really fucking great compared to Anthem 1. Well, yeah, of course it is. Anthem 1's terrible. It better be.
Yeah.
Game of the Year winner. Anthem 2.0, baby.
And that's it's a false equivalency. It's a false equivalency because, I mean, Resident Evil, the remake is impressive. It is impressive. I played it as Leon. It was good. We know how I feel about the replayability and the value of the game. I've talked about it 80 times on the show. I'm not going to say it again. But yeah, it just does not deserve a 1 out of 6 spots for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
It just
Where's
doesn't.
Metro Exodus? Where are all these other games that aren't remakes on this list? I don't even... Control is like... I haven't heard shit about Control other than an Instagram ad like a day before it came out. Like, That was it.
I think it was an Epic exclusive for a while, and I think
like,
that really hurt its.
Sekiro
Was it an
is
Epic? I
the
thought
only game
was
on
it
this
on
list that I
PC?
feel deserves to be on here. Yes.
Control.
It
Well, if
was.
it wasn't-
I know it was on Epic for a while, but I don't know if it came out on consoles.
I thought I looked on Steam and you couldn't. Oh, maybe that's why I can't get it on Steam. I'm sorry, because it's on Epic still. Yeah, August 2020 for Control. That's what I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
On Steam.
Sekiro and Super Smash are the only ones, and maybe Outer Worlds that deserve. Death Strand. Yeah, I don't know.
No. Outer Worlds doesn't deserve to be on the list. I bought it. It's like people.
Did you get the same feeling you got from playing New Vegas by playing Outer Worlds?
No, absolutely not. Fallout 3 and New Vegas are superior to the Outer Worlds in every single way. It's not even close. They're not like that similar of games though, because it's not an open world. It's you have to like fly to different planets, and you're like kind of on rails. It's a little bit open. It gives you the sense that it's open, but there's like nothing around. The loot's like all the same. It's like really not very good. You can see how shallow it is about 5 hours into the game. You're like, oh wait, I already saw all this already. Like heavy reuse of enemies. Not a lot of weapon diversity. The skill trees are bad. It's like you level up and it's like, okay, do I want like 10% crit damage increase or like 50 more health? That's like your choices. It's like there's nothing there that's different or original. It's
it's
like just like a standard. It got praise because people are comparing it to Fallout 76. And like I just said like 2 minutes ago about like Anthem and Anthem 2.0, like, yeah, I hope it's better than Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is terrible.
Maybe the
Like,
worst game in the last.
You can't praise a game for
years.
being better than Fallout 76. I could make a game in 2 days and it would be better than Fallout 76.
What happened to Borderlands 3? I'm sorry to throw this off, but wasn't that also?
Everybody praised the gameplay and
Thought
the
it was
story
great.
was shit.
Yeah, I mean, people liked it though.
Yeah.
It sold like hotcakes.
Was
I
it
thought
that
like
bad?
people really enjoyed it.
Well, by those standards, like, did you not think maybe it sold a lot and people really
I think
liked
it
it?
should probably be up. I think it should probably be up here.
I didn't.
This
play
is
it.
just my opinion, and it sounds like Matt's in an agreement that like I think the only game, in my opinion, at least among this list, Sekiro, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said that in the episode where we talked about the other list that I still said it. Like Sekiro was great.
I
It was
voted for Sekiro.
fantastic.
I can live with Super Smash.
Really, is a game of the year?
It is a good game.
I mean, compared to the other shit on the list, fuck
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
I'm just comparing to the other shit that's on the list. Sure, I don't think you can say that.
I wouldn't
think
think
that
that
game's
somebody
better
who
than-
loses to Isabel would think it was a game of the year.
Are you talking to me?
I
It
don't
was
know.
one game,
Mama.
and I was tired. I was stressed out from work. Like I had a lot of things on my mind.
I'd be stressed too if I was getting my ass whipped by somebody who never played the game before as Isabel.
As Isabel, I think like I had a full stock on him too, and he came back 1v1 and like just whooped my ass.
I'm pretty sure you had like 3 stocks on
No. All right, let's not stretch it too much. No.
Do you
That didn't
think
happen.
is this like a travesty if Sekiro doesn't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards?
Unless it's Death Stranding. I think that's the only game
I
that
agree with that.
should be able to beat it.
I don't
What
want
do
to
you think,
go
Will?
too far into Death Stranding. I've been digging kind of deep on this, and I haven't played it. I don't have a console to play it right yet, so
Well, if you need to
wait.
play Sekiro, dude.
I don't. From what I'm gathering, it has like all the, the pretty like, it has the bow, it has the nice wrapping paper and shit, but I don't think it necessarily has the substance.
That's a shame.
Sekiro.
No.
Death
Death
Stranding.
Stranding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I maybe
hell
speaking
no.
prematurely, but the more I look
Hell
into
no.
it, the worse I feel.
Did you
about
beat
it.
Sekiro yet, Josh?
Oh yeah, I did. Where have you?
Yeah, a couple times.
No, you never
Yep.
did. You're a
Yeah, I beat it.
liar.
I beat it with Isabel.
Beat it.
Uh-huh. What happened at the end?
Oh, you're Norman Reedus, and you take the baby.
Oh, okay. Wolf,
Conan
you gotta
O'Brien.
play it. It's good.
Well,
man.
I think my last point on these Game Awards is like kind of like we talked about in our main show a few weeks ago where we talked about Game of the Year. And like two of my favorite games I played this year were Gris and Outer Wilds. And they're indie games and like are they that polished? No. Like are they a AAA experience? No. But like are they are like is there more passion in those games? Is the experience way better than my experience with Outer Worlds? 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Outer Worlds, I wish I could refund it. I got like 3 hours of gameplay out of it. It stinks.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Game Awards is the big one,
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and I think they have an indie bracket for best
Well,
indie game of the
they
year.
do,
so
but
maybe you'll
okay,
see that on there.
yeah, but like those games are relegated to that segment, and nobody remembers indie game of the year. People
Yeah,
only
I'm
remember
catching
game
up
of the
with
year. So
that.
okay, you make a great indie game, and okay, you're fine. You can't win because you got to have the Resident Evil 2 remake in there. Control. I'm not even really sure what Control is in Outer Worlds, which, like I said, is there's no substance.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's got nothing.
I'll stream it one day and you can watch me play it and you'll be like, I'll play for half an hour and you guys will be like, Matt, didn't we like just see this same thing like 20 minutes ago? And I'll be like, yeah, that's all the whole game is.
If you guys get a chance, check out the Dunk of You video game, Dunky Death Stranding.
Oh, is it good?
It is, and I forget. You know, you watch it. He's really critical of the game. I was surprised. You know, makes me skeptical of Hideo Kojima, which I have been for a long time now. But I forget how gullible people are on the internet, especially in the YouTube comments. I just like want to get like a feeling of people's reaction, and then like obviously he does stupid shit in his videos. Like
Yeah, like
you
I remember
don't
his
feel like-
Breath of the Wild video.
right, and they're like he's doing a review of the game though, and they're like, well, no wonder he didn't like the game. He was playing the game all wrong. Like, no, he's just making a funny point, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that. People have a really hard time taking it for face value, and that there's this. Unfortunately, it seems like surrounding this Death Stranding game, this it's almost like the Rick and Morty effect, where I love Rick and Morty, but that you need to be some type of intellectual to decipher what Hideo Kojima is trying to say.
Okay, well that's how I feel about the
Yeah.
people that like Stadia too. It's like, oh dude, like if you don't get cloud gaming, like what are you, some kind of idiot? Well,
Yeah.
no, like the service just isn't very good right now.
Why do I need to like sift through and like dig so deep to try and find like an actual reason or like the niche reason for why
Yeah, right.
Stadia would be good in my life, like so I can switch it from my PC to my Google phone so I can take a shit while I'm playing
It's like the
Tomb
videos on
Raider,
YouTube.
Lost, whatever from
Yeah.
6
Okay.
years ago. Like,
Before we get too far away from that,
mhm.
there are many times when I've been playing like TFT or something, and I
go.
They don't- They don't have TFT.
I really got to
Dave.
take a shit, and it would be
They don't
cool
got
as
it.
fuck if I could transfer that shit from my computer screen to my iPad or something. Why shit? So I don't have to like rush, you know, to get back to the game before I like miss 2 rounds and lose.
Maybe
Mhm.
you're a Stadia guy too.
Maybe.
Maybe you don't know it yet.
Okay.
It's funny that you bring up the
Sometimes I
Hideo
figure it
Kojima
out.
thing, Wolf, because it's
Yeah.
like go on YouTube and it's like Metal Gear Solid game summary in a nutshell, and it's like a 2.5 hour long video, and it's like the video
it's totally
title's like
fucked, yeah.
summarizing it, you know. So it's like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I mean, it's just like you can find meaning in. It's essentially it's media, you know. It's just like a book. It's like anything.
Interpretation.
You can sit there. You can dig for these meanings of like Metal Gear Solid games. I enjoy the story. So I'm like, this guy might be. He might have missed the mark
Well,
this time. So.
Well,
War
like a
never
good,
ends.
I mean, like a really good story is normally self-evident, right? Like you don't have to do a ton of digging for it. Like there are
Right.
layers that you can go down in it, but like if
Yeah.
it's a really good meaning, it's going to present itself to you. Yeah, I agree. That's a shame because I was really hyped for that game, and maybe I'll pass.
Whether the gameplay seems iffy, but then obviously you were to expect the story to be incredibly convoluted, and it is almost people were saying to the point where it just still doesn't make any sense at the end. I think Angry Joe said something similar, that he wasn't really quite sure on all the details even after beating the game. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
shame.
I'll still try and play it. I think V was talking about it in the Discord, and he seemed very impressed by it. But it was also his first Hideo Kojima game. So I don't know. I'll still play it. I say I'm not going to buy for $60, and I said that about Link's Awakening too. But I think I'm just going to wait on this one and let it pan out.
Let us know how it is next week.
What's that?
Let us know how it is next week.
Oh, we got to wait for it to come out on PC. I don't know, PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, you got it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I lent it to you guys, and then
Yeah, and then
We
got
gave it
rid of
back to
for
you.
the Switch.
We give it back to you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
got
want
it
the
back.
viewers to think that you lent it to us and then we sold it first.
I got it back and got rid of it for my Switch.
And that makes sense. This is totally off topic. I think buying a Switch, none of those games come to PC. I'm very confident that literally 99% of everything that's out on PlayStation and Xbox right now is going to come to the PC. So
Absolutely.
you have to wait.
You know what I got on Switch, Wolf? Baldur's Gate.
I was
And
thinking
it
about
feels
it.
way better.
Really? Fuck.
Baldur's Gate
There's
2?
no way.
Yeah, on Anthem.
Wow.
There's no way. You're a liar.
All right, well, let's wrap the show there. I think that was long enough, Dave. I think you have to get going anyway.
Any details on the giveaway?
No, it's still going on. Yeah, check out my Twitter at Arcadian Matt if you want some exclusive BlizzCon merch. Two very large orc or horde grunt statues. They're really, really cool. A Diablo.
Work.
Oh fuck it! A couple pins and badges. I don't even care anymore. Just check it out on Twitter. I probably won't be releasing the grand prize winners probably for like another week and a half to 2 weeks. So there's a lot of time to get into it, but just double check that account if you want into it. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. I think also we're gonna have a Halo Reach video series coming out soon. If you're interested in that, check out our YouTube channel. But all right, cool. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.